Canada's capital, Ottawa, Ontario. Tonight, the Stars and the Senators in a reprisal of how things started in Dallas, Razor.
Yeah, Kari Lehtonen will be looking to last longer than the 10.5 minutes he played against the Senators in Dallas before getting the hook. Anders Lindback got the win. Robin Lehner was a surprise starter until news of number one man Craig Anderson's hand injury surfaced here. He's 0-2-1 with the goals against average near 4 against the Stars.
Jason Spezza on the ice. Lindy Ruff puts him out there with Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. Spezza was drafted second overall in the 01 draft by the Ottawa Senators. His time in Ottawa quite memorable, including a run to the Stanley Cup final in 2007. They bow out to the Anaheim Ducks. About a point-a-game guy in the playoffs as well. He's riding a 5-game point streak with his new team coming into play here after posting a very nice assist in Montreal. He'll step in with Kyle Turris, and Jason Spezza hits the ice in Ottawa for the first time as a Star. Klingberg's pass up ahead. It looked like another set play off the hop. Stone intercepts, got it over, and McCulloch, the other guy on that line, put it in deep. Spezza cranks it to the line. Colin and Ceci on the back end. Stars open with Klingberg and Goligoski, who goes to the front of the net to defend Stone. Here's the pass from Seguin to Benn, and up they come to center ice. Benn flips it in on goal, and Robin Lehner shuts it down.
Well, for the first time in quite some time, Lindy Ruff is looking for more goal production. Smarter attack, harder at the net, hit the net sometimes. That find a way or make a way phrase from 1999 comes to mind. You know, you can't fault the effort. Sometimes you can fault the smarts, and sometimes you just wonder whether you've just got awful luck going with your goal scoring all of a sudden.
Stars won 3 of 5 heading into the break. They lost in Montreal. Very hard-fought decision there. Went to the Canadiens the other night. Dallas 6 points onto the second wild card in the Western Conference as they enter play here tonight. Senators are 10 points out in the East. Lazar with a pass ahead. On the wing, it's Carlson, the defenseman. Threading one through toward Condra. Too deep, no icing. And Alexiak draws in tonight. Jordy Benn is out. Eakin, Garbutt, Roussel, the center. Antoine shoots it in, and what a crazy bounce. But the whistle, I think it went off a Senator on the bench.
No, it went off that curved glass at the end of the bench, and they blow it down when that happens. To the left of that curved glass is Dave Cameron, who was able to conduct a quasi mid-season training camp thanks to the All-Star break. I mean, it's been a week, a full week. They seem to be in games more under him than they were early in the season when it was basically their goaltenders that won games for them, not their team.
Mika Zibanejad in the corner in the Dallas zone, out to the line. Shot by Gryba is blocked on its way to the net. Knocked down with a high stick, actually, and there's the whistle for that infraction, and so we're kind of fits and spurts here to start.
With that 9-goal game in Dallas, that man Gryba had a few opportunities sneaking in from that right point position. You know, the billboards and the marquee was all about Carlson, but he had the better of the scoring chances of any of their D-men in that game.
Tommy Ryan locked up by Sean Horcoff. And Spezza now out with his usual mates. Schlemko passes it along, playing in his second straight game. Long pass from Demers off Horcoff at the line. Pumped all the way back in and wide of Lettonen's net. Senators are changing. Here's Horcoff, alone for the moment. Cowan interrupted his attack. Hemsky, briefly a Senator to the line for Goligoski. Got through, and Leonard shot out the right pad.
Took a little deflection there. That was headed to his glove side. He stopped it with his pad on the blocker side on a sort of a half speeder from the left point.
Hoffman, Pageau turned away at the line, and back comes Spidler. Shoots it in, jockeys away from Ceci. Colton Sevier threaded one through toward Travis Moen. It's Dallas' fourth line, if you will, tonight, and Goligoski out to center ice. Hoffman leads them with 16 goals. He plays it across the ice. There's Alex Chiasson, who has been completely snake-bitten too, and he hasn't shot the puck a lot in recent games. Senators make a play. Mathot does at the line to keep it in, and here's Klingberg. All the way across the ice. It's off Sevier and taken right back across by Stone offside.
Ooh. That was close to being tough spot for the Stars to be in with their top line cruising in. That chance from the point, I mean, it is a population explosion between the shot from Goligoski and the herd in front. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys right in there. There's the deft little deflection and a good toe save.
Mark Methot driving it in for the Senators from center. Stone and Alexiak grapple for the puck. Ben scooted forward, intercepted. Here comes Turris back into the Dallas zone. Turris shot it, Lettinen grabs it as Stone is right on his left.
Turnovers. Turris, we just talked about him off the hop here tonight. Talented guy, assuming that position on the top line at center ice that Spezza used to occupy here. There's the turnover. Back it comes. Big Alexiak closed on him in a hurry, but he still ripped that one high. Just 10 points in 20 home games. It's been an uneven offensive start to the season for him.
Coming up a big year last year.
Yes.
A career season for Turris. 26 goals, 58 points. Now Garbett searching for the puck, protecting it, flipped it in front to Eakin, and he's mauled. Now is digging to get it back. Carlson sprinting ahead. Pass blocked and hand pass called at center ice.
One of the things I think that is underused with the Stars is a high flip from their D-men, not just to diffuse pressure in their own zone, but to allow some of these really quick forwards to skate underneath and turn into a nightmare for the other team's defense. You know, especially guys like Garbett and Roussel can fly, you know, Sagan can fly. They do a lot of that bank passing out of their own zone and use the boards, but I think they could do more of that.
Leonard sets it up. Phillips turns it over. Horcoff walked right into him. And Hemsky picks it up, gives it to Spezza. Shot it, save Leonard. Back of the net, Leonard thought about going after the puck. Greiba digging it out on his backhand and then using the forehand off the boards to get it to the Dallas line. Schlemko pops it right back over. Horcoff has a step on Phillips. Greiba there to pick him up. Trying to work past him. There's Spezza in the corner. Out to the line for Demers. Over to Schlemko. He's got a step. He shoots it wide of the net. Demers blasting away. That's blocked by Zibanejad. He'll hand it out to Ryan. One-on-one against Schlemko and Zibanejad driving the net. Pass floated away from both he and MacArthur. And a penalty coming up here against the Stars.
Yeah, Horcoff hooked onto Zibanejad on the way up the ice. And there's no way they were going to catch him with foot speed as they got chasing out of the attacking end. Bobby Ryan had the puck. Right-hand side of the screen and reach out. I'm gassed. I'll hook. Otherwise, they were home free in front of Kari Lettinen. So, their power play, which scored 2 goals in Dallas, gets the first opportunity tonight.
And they've been revved up a little lately. That's part of a 5-goal outburst in their last 6 games for the 19th ranked power play unit of the Senators. Dallas again, trickle. They've given up about a goal a game lately on the season. Recently. Shot from Hoffman, blocked in front and cleared. Hoffman and Carlson back there booming away. Senators are wearing their heritage uniforms, by the way. It's the 6th of 11 times they'll do it this season. You don't recognize the look. He shoots it in. Turris digging it out. Stone's over there too. Put it back to the net from McCulloch. Sprays it around the boards. Fiddler's in the right spot. He'll split the pointman to clear it. Leonard will hold it back of his net. Pass too far for Stone. Garbett tried to swing it out against Turris. He'll get it back and then float it out to Eakin. Carlson back to defend. Eakin shielding him, and then he can't get the shot away.
He's the best back-checking defenseman in the National Hockey League. He really is. He's very good at doing that.
MacArthur taking the Dallas line. Turned it over, and Eakin can't get it past Carlson. Fidgeting it over toward the far side. Garbett backhands it out on his way to the bench for a change.
There aren't a lot of guys that would stand there and try to make that play that Carlson just did at the right point. Got away with it.
Ryan into the zone. Swerving to his left. Bailey knocked it away from Ceci, and here come the Stars again, shorthanded. It's Mon lugging it in. Oh, and he goes in hard to the end boards. But he's back up and okay. Senators with 20 left on the power play. Ceci takes the line. Ryan shoved by Jamie Benn. Stars working around. Trevor Daley. And the Senators really showing not much on this power play. Dallas had probably the better looks.
They look like they have a lot of energy. You'd understand that after a week off, but they're out of sorts. They're not crisp.
Horkoff's on power play is over. Hemsky goes back of the net. Gryba was impeded by Spezza. Comes up the near side. And Peugeot hacked away and in on Leonard. Here comes Gryba up ahead to center ice. Shooting it in. Demers put it back around, and Schlemko comes up the near side wall. Mathad will race it down. Not much action around the goaltender. Shots are 2-1 Dallas early in the game. Turris flips it over. Klingberg getting their back of the net. Fights through a little stick check. Seguin to Eves to Benn. Benn from center ice. On to Goligoski. Back to Benn. Whacked it off the side of the net. Goligoski in the corner, handing it to Benn. Leaving it for Seguin. Punching it deep for Goligoski. Eves is in front of the net. Centering pass there, and a penalty coming up against the Ottawa Senators.
Stars get their shot here now. Boy, that was some good work all the way up the ice by that five-man unit for the Dallas Stars.
Jason Spezza is back in Ottawa, and the fans here at Canadian Tire Center are ready for him.
Ottawa Senators select from Windsor's Spitfires, Jason Spezza.
You know, there's some debate here locally as to how the fans would treat Spezza and his return to Ottawa, whether it be boos or cheer. I think most people I talk to say, believe me, they'll cheer him. He was such an outstanding offensive player for them through the years. Requested the trade, got the trade, had some teams that he would go to, and he's trying to turn into a different style of player under Lindy Ruff and with the Stars than he was here in Ottawa. And as he said, all I want to do is win. I just want to win.
Now he's out there trying to score a power play goal. Stars are first on the power play. Spezza's not on the ice now, but here's Benn. Klingberg's on top. Seguin, as Benn goes to the front of the net here. Worked on this. There's Spezza. He is there. Shot it. Saved by Leonard. And it's tapped toward Klingberg, who hauls it in. Shoves it down low. Benn, a shot. He scores! That didn't take long, and the power play puts him up 1-0.
Well, the Mathot minor because of the Benn line that was out there and their attack, and then the patience of Klingberg to set this up. The Ottawa Senators were way out of sorts with their penalty kill. That's as spread out as you're going to get a four-man penalty killing unit. And Benn is solo in front of the net. They just drift away. I think maybe assuming that Klingberg was going to do something else with that puck, trying to overplay Tyler Seguin. on the left wing side, and Jamie Benn goes in and just undresses Leonard in tight in order to put the Stars up immediately here. Good work.
Ben had a goal and a helper in Montreal. Points now in 9 of his last 13 games. That's his 15th goal of the season and his 5th on the power play. That ties Daly second to Seguin's 7.
He was the best Dallas Star in that game in Montreal, and he's another guy that really benefited from the All-Star break and not playing in the All-Star game. He got some time off to rest what has been ailing him.
Roussel bumped with Neal. Lazar brings it in deep. That's Condra back of the net, shooting it out to Phillips. A shot. Lettinen came out to find it with his left pad. Off the scrum, it goes to Phillips again. Teeing up. Deflected to the near side. And Antoine Roussel hustling out to center ice, heaving it over Condra. And an icing against Dallas.
Well, Jamie Benn won a gold medal at the Olympics last year, and he came back from that where he was instrumental in all things Team Canada and was outstanding. He really picked up sort of where he left off, if you will. He and Seguin were outstanding last year. But look at that, final 23 games of the season, 12 goals, over a point a game, excellent plus-minus, led the Stars. One of the guys that truly led the Stars to the postseason.
Leads them here. They're up 1-0. And here comes Trevor Daly, weaving his way to the line and beyond. Against Carlson, taking it in deep. Daly passing off. Shot tip, score! Antoine Roussel was in front of that bid from Vern Fiddler, and the Stars are up 2-0.
Well, there'll be some debate from their side, I would think, as to whether this was above the crossbar or not, but I don't think it was. All that room. Those great legs. Another guy that benefited from some downtime at the All-Star break was Trevor Daly. Quick shot. Roussel posts up in front. This goes through Leonard. There's the deflection in tight. Man, that's a bouncing puck. Look at the reaction of Leonard, the netminder, who wears his emotions on his sleeve. So a polar opposite start here in Ottawa to what the Stars found themselves in Montreal at the start of this road trip.
12th goal of the season for Antoine Roussel. Lettinen, puck was coming to him slowly. Methot holding in his clearing attempt at the line. Pajot is bumped off by Sevier and out to center ice. Ben's goal from Klingberg and Eves. Stars changing there right where the puck was coming. Too many men on the ice penalties in Montreal, one on either side the other night. Pajot stuck it into the corner. Chiasson jockeying with Goligoski, who ties him up. Klingberg has it back of the net. Sidestepping Pajot. Bending off stick wax. And up comes Goligoski. Fiddler and Daly with the helpers on that goal. And another icing call here against the Stars.
I think they're going to have to change it. I thought I saw Colton Sevier stick out in the lane on this, and it was his deflection that forced it to go down there. And short side on Robin Leonard. There's mass confusion in there. Boy, Sevier, since that healthy scratch in Toronto, he's been a productive guy.
Boy, has he ever. As this one comes into Kari Lettinen, and it is Colton Sevier's 6th goal of the season.
That's 6 goals and 13 points in 22 games, which is more like kind of what he produced for the Stars last year and earned himself a one-way deal. Had the shoulder problems, sort of stumbled into the season, lost some confidence, but he has refound his game.
Hemsky and Spezza to the line. Spezza creating some room. Deferring to Demers for a shot that's blocked. Ricochets back out to the line. Stone hauling it into McCulloch. One-on-one against Schlemko. Got the shot away, and it's fought up by Kari Lettinen. Stone overwhelmed. And Spezza stretching out for it, but he'll go to the bench with the change.
It just feels like the difference in it. The Stars hounding things and playing better as a team, and the Senators a little bit spread out.
Turris now. Forced to the boards by Alexiak. Mark Stone tapped it on to Turris. To the slot. Couldn't pull the trigger. It fell off his stick. Daly banking it ahead. Contest for the puck inside the zone. Gryba comes away with it, and then Eves goes right back after him. Benn to Seguin, back of the net. On to Benn, but it's waist high. Stone turns into the trouble, and Eves can't get his stick out of Stone's skates. Now it's Seguin, tried to center it. Seguin staying with it, and he's tripped up by Gryba. Another penalty, and Seguin comes up sweltering as he took a little liberties with him.
Well, they're having a tough time handling the Stars' top line. And they're going to be on the power play again because of that trio.
Stars score on the power play. Jamie Benn followed up by Colton Sceviour less than a minute later for a 2-0 lead here in Ottawa.
Stars certainly not thirsting for goals tonight. Remember, Miller time is coming up later in the game, brought to you by Pilsner Brewed. Miller Lite. Stars right back on the power play. Here, another defenseman that couldn't handle Seguin, Benn, and Eves. Gryba, 62 in the corner, gets the hook up into the washboard stomach abdomen of Tyler Seguin.
Alexander Ovechkin popped a couple last night, so Seguin is now one behind Ovi. He's got 28. He's second in overall scoring, Tyler is. Klingberg at center, giving it to Spezza. Pivoting away from Stone, finding Klingberg. Working it over to Seguin. Seguin toward the net, centered it. Spezza shot, he missed. And out it comes. There's 1 for 1 on the power play. This is their second. Jamie Benn to Jason Spezza at the line. That's intercepted. McCulloch got his stick on it, and everybody regrouping. Klingberg takes the line. Everybody stopped for the Senators. Seguin back of the net. Spezza centers to Benn. Can't get the backhand up. Gives it to Klingberg. Shooting. Pad stop Leonard.
Good stop. He looked him off there. Everybody anticipated he was going to feed that over to Spezza.
Seguin from Klingberg. Down to Spezza. In front. Saved. Loose. Covered by Leonard.
Klingberg has so much stealth and so much misdirection and so many brain particles involved in his play. Another example of it here. He was the guy that originally took the line, and then everyone's thinking, okay, it's going over to Spezza. Everyone's frozen, and instead the goaltender, Leonard, waits on it, doesn't bite on it, and just gets a toe on it. Get the shots through and rebound is what the Stars would like to do.
Their second unit out here. Horcoff, Sceviour, Hemsky, Daly, and Demers.
Guys were kidding about when is Hemsky's tribute video tonight. What is the cutoff for tribute videos anyway?
Patrick Eaves, a former Sen too. Demers. For Colton Sceviour, Horcoff's in front of the net. Daly moving, group rotating, Hemsky shooting, scores! Ales Hemsky back in Ottawa gives Dallas a 3-0 lead.
Well, tribute video or no tribute video. He's going to end up on the Jumbotron here some way, somehow. Dave Cameron doesn't have his #1 netminder, and his backup is full of holes. Stars working around. This is just a slapper from distance. Short side again. That's a couple that have gone in there. Rotate to the middle, pull a penalty killer with you, open up a shooting lane, and drill it. High, short side, probably visually inconvenienced.
Hemsky's 8th. Trevor Daly has 2 assists in the first period. And the Stars are 2 for 2 on the power play. Both units have scored. Razor, it's fixed. Bobby Ryan tried an attack. Klingberg over there waiting for him. Zibanejad cutting, and his pass cut off again by Klingberg. MacArthur's back to the net. He scored in the game in Dallas. Carlson worked the line, walked it. Roussel blocked the shot, comes to Goligoski, but it's tapped away, and Eakin following up. He'll break with his wingers to the line. Roussel to Eakin. Garbage loose in front. McLeod shut it down. Goligoski from the point. Deep to Eakin. Mathot roughing him up in the corner. Go to Eakin, shanking it back to the net. Roussel in a puck battle there. Stronger than Bobby Ryan. Roussel centering feed. Now Garbutt off the end board. Shot it. Leonard makes the stop. MacArthur deep in his zone, and he's forced by Schlemko. Stars changing. Travis Moen, Zibanejad, Methot slapped it all the way down the ice, and it's icing against Ottawa, who find themselves trailing 3-0 early.
Well, Ales Hemsky has made the big adjustment to Lindy Ruff's north-south style of play and gets some second power play time now. But it's been a big adjustment for both Hemsky and Jason Spezza. That wicked shot, he wasn't utilizing his shot early on. Started to score a little bit, said, I'm going to shoot a little bit more. It usually pays off for individuals that have high skill, and it has for him.
First power play goal of the season. Fiddler out to the line for Demers. Juggles, shoots it deep. And I guess it was offside right there.
It jumped out of there. They haven't had to do much defending here in the first period, Demers and company in their own zone. It's been all about up ice and dominating special teams. Good start. Very good. And, yeah. There you go. They haven't done this early. Their big period has always been the middle period for the power play, but they have opened up a can on the Senators in Canada.
Trevor Daley. Lazar came after him, but he pumped it out. Phillips fought it a bit. Neal at center ice. Driving it around the boards. Connor and Alexiak tangling in the corner. Lazar sneaks away. Cleaned up in front by Daley. Neal out toward Phillips. Not sure that was the intended area. Neal back of the net. Lazar trying to get away from Alexiak, centered it. Lettinen down on all fours, finds the puck. And the Stars put up the gauntlet in front as Neal's looking to change the mood here.
He's trying to grab the biggest Dallas star out there, and that's Jamie Alexiak. Yeah, they're trying to change the direction of this game.
Under 6 minutes to play in the first. Dallas up big, 3-0. Enter to win a weekend with the Stars April 3rd and 4th. See the Stars and the Blues at American Airlines Center April 3rd. Then hop a plane to see the Stars and the Preds in Nashville the next night. We'll give you airfare, hotel stay, and some spending money courtesy of Dr. Pepper.
We all know Tyler Seguin can score goals. He's improved his face-off percentage, and he's trying to be a better player without the puck. Good example there on young Lazar. He didn't allow him to get to the front of the net.
On the resumption of play, Carlson shot it in deep. Stone back of the net. Jam up in the near corner. Stone to the line. Carlson shot deflected just wide in front by McCulloch. Ellis able to tip it out, and then Hemsky's rammed. Stars in hunting the puck. Spezza. Tied up by Turris. Carlson claims it. He'll come to center ice. On to Stone. Back to Turris. A shot blocked by Garbutt. McCulloch swung, couldn't get it off cleanly. Backhander from Stone over the net.
A hot backhand. Wow.
Deacon sending Garbutt to give chase. Klingberg at center ice finds the puck. Snuck it along to Garbutt. Stars are in onside. Ryan Garbutt had 7 shots in Montreal the other night. He's 4th in team shooting in terms of number of shots. That one tipped away in front by Carlson. Bounces to the near circle. Stone pumps it out to center. Klingberg surveying his options. Gave it to Garbutt. Dallas reloading. Morgowski didn't like either of those options. We'll start again. Pass up off Sevier into the zone. Shot out to center. Klingberg nudged it over. And Travis Moen trying to escape in front of the Dallas bench. Sliding it deep for Vern Fiddler. He'll go in there with Gryba. Gryba popped it around the boards for Alex Chiasson. Chiasson drives it to center.
There's a lot of just throw your problem away if you're the Ottawa Senators right now. The Stars have been a much better and more poised team with the puck. You know, the forward lines are all different for Dave Cameron from the groupings in the 5-4 loss at Dallas that they felt like they could have won. They were up like this early in the hockey game. But the D pairs and the starting goalie are the same here tonight. Neal has jumped into their lineup up front. He didn't play in Dallas.
Ryan sneaking in. Alexiak found him with the stick. Following up Zibanejad, save Lettinen. They score on the rebound. Sens are on the board. It's 3-1.
Right from the center or neutral zone face-off. This kid Zibanejad is a good one. Right from the draw, the Stars win it, but they get sort of frozen or in between both Ben and Alexiak. Bobby Ryan with that big reach, he drives the net. Then it's just a backhand 60-degree wedge. Bobby Ryan to the front of the net. You can see the problem Lettinen had with that because of that. And the rebound gets popped up top.
Zibanejad's 12th, third in his last 5 games. They're in again. MacArthur! Seguin stripped him from behind. Daly fighting through Zibanejad. Back in the net, Alexiak. With it to the line to right to Ceci. Passing out to Bobby Ryan for a shot that's blocked to the corner. MacArthur slipped it toward the net. It's blocked. Deep to Ryan. Seguin goes across. His line mates, Zibanejad, Ryan and MacArthur get the assist, and they were looking to team up again there.
Just an ounce of indecision is deadly in this league, especially with the elite players on the ice.
Spezza barreling in after the puck. Mathot curling it to Lazar, up the middle, and Miskondra.
But they haven't made very many tape-to-tape passes coming out of their own zone here in the first.
Horcoff with a dandy catch at the line, but he's forced out by Carlson. There are 3 minutes to play in the first period. They scored thrice. Ottawa just answered. Demers from center ice testing Leonard.
I think that should be a penalty. I really do. Goalies, a shot from 80 feet away, and it gets tied up in their paraphernalia. They've got nothing but teammates around them. How is that not delay a game? It should be delay a game. Dumb. 6'5", 225. Here comes his teammates. Just move it.
There's Cody Eakin. Eakin working that percentage up. 50%. He struggled in the early season in the faceoff circle. The Stars are a very good faceoff team, led by Jason Spezza. Malagoski, nice feed to Eakin. Swerving past Carlson. Garbutt shielding Mathot. Eakin back of the net. Fighting through Carlson. Now to Garbutt. Mathot drops under him. Klingberg tipped it to Roussel. Deep to Garbutt, back of the net. Garbutt back out to Goligoski. A shot that's blocked by Stone, and he'll carry it ahead. Need help from McCulloch at the line, who pushes it in deep. And goes after Klingberg back there. Garbutt there to jam with McCulloch. And McCulloch's stick is... I guess there's the evidence.
It's a bit of a delayed hook.
Yeah.
But a hook nonetheless.
Dallas player 62 is for holding the stick.
Oh, holding the stick. Watch this. I'd like to leave now. Nope. it's in my armpit. Ryan Garbutt's tried really, really hard to play with less emotion and see if he can get away with more stuff than maybe he used to, but he admitted, we walked out yesterday after practice together, and he said it's tough to get rid of your reputation. You can earn it in a year.
Now a shot, they score! Ceci got it in, Ryan poked it after it got through Lettinen. And a power play goal for the Senators. So it's going to be like that, huh?
There are a lot of people that said that this could potentially be an 8-7 game tonight. It was 5-4 in Dallas. The Sens have cut this to within 1 at 3-2. Good play at the blue line to hold that in. And then again, Bobby Ryan, he was right in the eyes of Kari Lettinen on their first goal. He gets in front this time. It was like a little egg was hatched in behind Kari, who never saw this shot come through. It got deflected, I believe, too, by Ryan in tight. And then he does a spinorama celebration after it.
4 times a 30-goal man with the Anaheim Ducks. That's his 13th. Just his third since a hat trick on December 29th.
They really thought that Bobby Ryan would mesh well with Jason Spezza when they made that deal. It just never really clicked for them here last year.
Icing against the Stars.
Talented guy. He can score. He's made it happen here as they dug themselves an 0-3 hole, and he's been instrumental in both of the goals they've scored to make this a one-shot game again. I can't get used to him wearing number 6, though.
Yeah.
He's a 9. He wears 9 for Madonna, or at least he did in Anaheim. Now it's upside down. You got to remember, McCulloch is not Bobby Ryan here.
No, that's right. It only takes me a minute. Pajot striding to the Dallas line. Pressure from behind. Daly has to let him go. Alexiak picks him up and stapled him to the corner. Carlson playing it deep for Condra. Pajot's in front. Couldn't get him the puck. Now Spezza's back there sealing things up. Mathot stopped at top of the circle. His shot blocked by Hemsky out of the zone, and that stings. Half a minute to play in the first period. Quick up to Condra from Carlson. McCulloch after the puck. He's number 9. Zibanejad was in there, but the Stars trap him, and out comes Fiddler. Racing ahead. Gets away from Cowan. Deep in the zone. Fiddler. That's Ryan tying him up. Trying to get off to Sevier. Shooting. Save Leonard. Moen trapping it against the boards. Sevier digging it out. To the line for Schlemko. Throw it away. Here comes MacArthur. Steving in. MacArthur a shot. He missed the net. Whoa.
I wonder who was counting, or if he was counting in his head or what, but late in the period, going the width of the rink, never really a good idea. Never looked over there, and it was jumped. Bright play by MacArthur. Fought the puck for a second, and I think that sent him a little wider. I was surprised Kari Lehtinen stayed as deep on that, considering the time left in the period.
Well, so a little good, a little not so good for the Dallas Stars, but a lead on the road after 1 is okay. Jason Spezza returns to Ottawa. Program alert. His interview with Razor is in the first intermission tonight, so that's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Jason Spezza joins Daryl Ray. The Stars in Canada to play the Senators, and it's 3-2 Dallas after a crazy first. Stars in Ottawa or thereabouts to play the Senators. 3 first-period goals. Now 48 first-period goals this season, Razor, but they should be really stoked because here comes their frame.
That was Parliament, and that's a long way away from here. Yes, the most explosive second-period team in the National Hockey League is our Ford leaderboard, second-period goal scoring. Stars with 63. 14 of their 28 power play goals, so half of them now have been scored in the middle frame. There's got to be something about the long change and the ability of the Stars to skate. You know, power plays about hemming people in with the extra man in the second period where they can't get back to their bench and get changes in.
Penalty boxes are empty. Both teams had 2 power plays in the first period. We had 3 total power play goals, 2 of them from Dallas. Jamie Benn to Patrick Eaves, former first-round pick of the Ottawa Senators. He started his career here. Sagan in front, just missed a cutting Jamie Benn. Oligoski unable to keep it in at the line.
A couple of times pucks have slid just past the blue line. See what the second period has for us here after a 5-goal first. Start trying to get their stretch and skating game going, and good puck support again. I thought that was a big part of their game in the opening 20 minutes. Tight.
Benn, Sagan, and Eaves. Alex Goligoski lugging it ahead. Creeping across, it opens up, he shoots, and Leonard makes the stop.
Afforded quite a bit of ice there on his way in. Take your time, find a spot. Found himself in the sin bin a lot in Montreal the other night. This time, take the line and hold up. Klingberg's done that a couple of times here too, and this one stared right into the glove of big Robin Leonard. Stars decor that, I mean, they're great at adding an extra guy to the attack. Where they get overmatched at times is right in front of their own net because of the size.
Stars win the faceoff and a scorcher by Hemsky. Jason Spezza around behind for Horcoff. Ales Hemsky. Spezza centering pass. Hemsky reached back with the glove, finds it, places it back to the net. Turris leaning on Horcoff, who plows away from him. Feeds it on to Spezza. Passing back toward Klingberg. Tapped it forward after he recovered it with the skate, but Carlson up ahead leading the charge. Turris sniping into Stone. He shoots, save Lehtinen. Big kick out the rebound, and Spezza tried to thread one through. Stone intercepts, only to lose out to Hemsky. And a wandering puck flipped out of the zone by Carlson. This pair remaining on here in the first 80 seconds of the second period. And the young Klingberg, 22-year-old Swede, up ahead to Garbutt, backhanded it. Eakin was probing, Schlemko shooting, and that's up. Leonard and wide. Roussel up to the ice as he collides with Mathot. Eakin in to strip the puck. Challenged along the boards by Alex Chiasson. Whipped it into the middle, turned it over. Hoffman up ahead. Chiasson on the wing. Has a step on Eakin. He shoots. Pad stop Lehtinen. It's cleared away as Chiasson goes hard into the end boards.
Did he ever? Still trying to gather himself. Might have just winded himself.
Hunched over and now at the Ottawa bench. Phillips, and the Senators are offside.
Seen both teams try to scamper up ice and get to the net. Good chance for their top line. Turris. Stone got the shot off, but Turris changes the point of attack immediately at the attack blue line. I love that. Of course, Carlson mules it out of his own zone, and then Stone, I think, wanted to give it back to him, but it was covered, so ripped it at the net. Produced a pretty juicy rebound opportunity for the Senators.
Vern Fiddler with a first period assist for the Stars. Fiddler had goals in consecutive games prior to the All-Star break. Phillips leaving it. Moen charging in against Lazar. Condra spun but right into Demers, and Greiba with the pass ahead. He took a pretty good hit back there from Moen. Lazar trying to get swiftly past Jason Demers. Alexiak probing as well. Fiddler spun around. Lazar had it poke checked away by Demers. Condra back to the line for Phillips. Passing over. Greiba's shot blocked by Moen, who dives. But goes straight in the air along the boards. Condra passing off. Lazar had it in his skates. See here? This little drop pass to Vern Fiddler. Senators are changing. Stars would like to do likewise, and so Demers waits for the forward groups to exchange. MacArthur in for a look. Whip it out to center ice. Seguin up to Ben. Fought off by Ceci at the line. Coming back quickly is MacArthur. Seguin sniffing. Ceci makes the pass. MacArthur full gallop to the Dallas line. Turning the corner, shooting, letting the stop. No rebound.
Well, you had the sense that the Senators were going to get a little better as this game moved along with some activity. Chiasson went back to the bench after colliding with the end boards and then to their dressing room. There was some question as to whether he'd even play here tonight. It might have been a healthy scratch. He got bumped just as he released the puck by Cody Eakin and couldn't stop himself up. And there was a lot of, or not much movement from the bottom of the board, similar to what happened to Eric Cole just before the break that has him out of the lineup, although he's close.
He's close, Richie's close. Ben to Eaves at the line. Ben keeping it in, curled it toward the front. MacArthur picked it off. Ceci to MacArthur. Zibanejad centering pass. Klingberg blocks that. Looking for the puck in the corner, swept it up to the line. Cowan couldn't hold it for Ottawa. So the Stars strike first, twice, and second for a 3-0 lead. Ottawa responds with two late in the frame. And a little hug there from Turris on Klingberg. And Seguin couldn't quite get back on side here.
I'm starting to get the sense the Senators are going to try to get a physical edge on the Stars, and especially their D-core. Clark MacArthur in behind with Goligoski. They come out of this battle on the end boards, and as they come out, Goligoski kind of impedes them for a second. They shove, come back together again, rock them back, and then right after that, the headlock by Turris on Klingberg.
Hemsky back of the net. Carlson stepped away from Horcoff. Spezza cut him off along the boards. Horcoff with a bouncing puck to Spezza. Shot! Save Leonard.
That wasn't supposed to happen. No. Not supposed to bow up then.
No.
Great play all around. The better play was just getting that puck through to the front of the net where Spezza was traipsing.
Horcoff angling it in. Leonard will set it up. And the Stars getting changes. Eakin, Garbutt, and Roussel out there. Torres takes the Dallas line, swinging away from Oleksiak. Couldn't get anything on the shot. Oleksiak had him. Demers moving forward to the Ottawa line. Demers to Oleksiak, who is up on the attack. Gryba. Toward McCulloch at the Dallas line. He waited a tick too long, and then Roussel is hit by Stone.
He got filled in by Stone. Tough spot for Antoine Roussel to be in. Trying to fish that puck out of his feet in the boards. Paid for it.
Pass too far for Garbutt. He'll save his wind.
Well, this is sort of the story of Jason Spezza's season so far with the Stars. Just can't get it going offensively. Good work, though, along the boards. Carlson turns it over. There's the nice pass. How'd that get through? Little touch speed. I think it might have slid right underneath, and Spezza in tight couldn't elevate. When you do not elevate, you usually do not accumulate. Drive by and foiled by the left pad of Leonard.
8 goals and 35 points for Spezza. Gryba pumped it off the face-off win. It dies off the end glass. Oleksiak moved it up to center. Gryba and Roussel jockeying with each other. And there's Phillips. First overall in 96. So Chiasson back on the ice. Lifted to Hoffman for a shot. He went short side.
How about that move? Stick that on your Pinterest page. Wow. Oh.
Back of the net, it's Demers. Is that the one you swipe, or? I'm never sure. Here's Mullen. Eakin tried to protect the puck, and Hoffman has it back of the net. No options in front, and he's crushed in the corner. Oleksiak pitched it. Lazar intercepts it, and Eakin came bolting through. It's held in the zone by Hoffman. Spun it deep to Chiasson, back of the net. Ceci following up the play. It's nudged away from him, and Oleksiak along the boards. Here comes Garbutt. The center, Eakin clawed it out of his skates, and Neal took a high stick from Ryan Garbutt as he was skating away. And there's a penalty coming up on Garbutt and the Stars. Condra weaving at the Dallas line. Extra attacker on. It's Ryan. He'll slip it back out to Condra. Looked at Cowan. Passes off. Gets it back. Finds Ryan in the near corner. As soon as the Stars get possession, whistle blows. Pumped. Rebound. And Ceci's tied up after the drive by Cowan. So Ryan Garbutt goes back to the penalty box. Ottawa will look to tie the game with the man advantage. 13:03 left in the second.
Well, there have been some visual daggers sent across the ice to the Stars penalty box on the other side where Ryan Garbutt sits. He's been careless with his play a couple of times. Back in the first period, he got nailed. This time, there's just no need for the, you know, it's subtle in that little guillotine thing. Vern Fiddler may have saved a goal just prior to that when they had Leonard on the bench for the sixth attacker on a big fat rebound that went out in front. He was walking around with a limp yesterday, and yet he had no question as to whether he was going to play here tonight, Vern Fiddler.
Asked him how he was. I'm great. I feel great. Very Vern Fiddler-like. Third power play of the game for the Ottawa Senators. They're 1 for 3, and there goes Fiddler. After the puck, Leonard has it back to the net. Fiddler looking for a miscue. And Zibanejad turns away from the pressure. Cody Ceci up to center ice. Clark MacArthur and the healthy scratch David Legwand co-lead the Senators with 5 power play goals apiece. MacArthur and it dug away. Roussel's clearing attempt. Hit Fiddler, comes right to Ceci. His pass unclean. He might get another try, but no. Antoine Roussel came charging out.
Well, he's just unsure of himself what he wanted to do. He's checking his stick, but I don't think it was the stick. I think it was higher than that, just above the neck where he was having his issue.
Maybe just kind of inside the helmet there somewhere. Ryan pops it back. Ericsson's shot found the boards. or Carlson shot, pardon me, and the Stars find it and out. Eakin on the backhand clears it. Erik Karlsson back to get it. MacArthur, more than midway through the power play, threw it away off Stone. Oleksiak driving it in on Leonard. This one he does hand off. Karlsson with the big turn. Passing on the wing to Stone. Turris bumped it over with the skate. Oleksiak tried to find the puck. Moen will. Oleksiak wants it at the line, and they'll just lob it in there. Moen will. Horcoff on his own. He'll eat it in the corner. The Senators well away. 25 seconds left on the Ottawa power play. Turris takes the line, shoots it over the Stars. Daly let it go. Goligoski out, but Phillips kept it in. Hoffman passing over. Stone twirling. Hoffman chased that tip puck and kept it into the line. Daly found it, hoisting it out on the backhand, and that'll do it.
Well, the Senators were their own worst enemy on that power play. They were the guys that were gifting pucks back and indecisive.
Herbert on his way to the bench was pressuring Phillips. Now he'll get there. Gryba turned into Jamie Benn. Klingberg holding it along the boards. Passed it off. Sagan waiting. Not a Benn. A shot. Missed the net. Benn taking it back of the goal. Phillips has them all jammed up with the stick. Benn fighting for the puck, and Phillips kept them away.
They've got some big boys on defense with these Ottawa Senators. Benn doesn't lose many grapples like that.
Sagan to Benn at center. Benn to Sagan. Sagan on his backhand. Stopped. Lost the puck with Gryba. Pound for pound, the biggest blue line in the NHL. The Senators. Eaves couldn't flip it over to Klingberg, who was cruising down from the right point. And it's whipped down the ice. No icing. Schlemko with Pajot. Back of the net. Klingberg finding the loose puck. He'll bring it up ahead. Head straight up. He'll take the line. Floating it in. And Horcoff couldn't quite connect on it. And now Spezza chasing out to center ice. But Klingberg intercepts again, only to turn it over to Karlsson. Chase on to Karlsson. He's in too deep. And Horcoff there to help out against Hoffman, who finds the puck. Hemsky a little too far for Spezza, who's in a foot race with Mathot. And tie goes to the defenseman.
It's going to be a penalty. Pajot's going to get nailed for tripping. He trailed the leg, and Hemsky got up rather gingerly. Disbelief from the Senator player as to whether it's a penalty or not. It is.
So midway through the game, the Stars have a chance to get back up by 2, up 3-2 against the Sens.
We cheated and peeked at the replay already, and this is a pretty iffy tripping penalty on Pajot, but the Stars will take it and go to work. They almost cracked another here. This is a good play by Tyler Sagan, who told me he's starting to look away. He's getting overplayed so much. Watch, almost 3 Senators go to him. There's never a lane to shoot. How many shots did he have blocked in Montreal the other night? Yep. Right. Here's the penalty. Stepped up and pretty much shoulder to shoulder, forearm shiver, if you will, right here. Hemsky was coming out and was staring that puck into the ice. He's up and okay. He's already scored in the game here tonight. That goal on the power play, and we'll see if the Stars can do it again.
That is his first Pajot's penalty. 17 games in. Getting a little more time here for the Sens lately. Good face-off man, but now he sits. Stars' third power play of the game. They are 2 for 2. And Jason Spezza, 722 career points. He did not get on the sheet against the Senators in Dallas, the only team against whom he has not registered a point, as you might suspect. In he comes, sliding it off to Sagan. Then standing in the near circle, that Spezza at the side of the net, pucked it through, it's blocked. Diving was Eaves, but out bust McCulloch, a breakaway short-handed, he shoots, save Lettinen. Needed that stop. Klingberg to Sagan. Sagan cutting in, he's hacked down to the ice on his way to the net. He would like a call, he does not get one. Klingberg rounding the net, they'll try it again. He'll toss it in, but the change commences. Gryba to the point. Daly lost it, shooting ahead is Condra. Diving Demers. firing. Lettinen catch and release to Daly.
A very lackadaisical change by the Stars when Klingberg came off and Demers was going on. They almost got exposed because of it.
Daly got fouled up. They got another man clear. It's Condra. Turned to try and make that catch. And the Stars will pick it off, and here they come. Sevier into the zone, handing it to Horcoff, dishing it back to Demers, now to Daly, a shot. Leonard made the stop, but the rebound is loose. Horcoff retrieved that puck. Been on both sides of the ice here. Hemsky down to Horcoff, to Sevier, just missed him. Daly from the top of the far circle to Demers straight away. Passing to Hemsky about the same spot he scored in the first period, and this one is tipped by Cowan out of play.
Off the shaft of the stick. Yeah, you know, one of the things that Kari Lettinen does extremely well when he's spot on his game is big saves, key junctures. Stars got over-aggressive, lost the battle for it. He was going 5-hole all the way. That puck looked like he was jumping a little bit. Because that maybe couldn't hit the spot that he wanted. Does it ever settle down? Yeah, it did. Good save. Aggressive save by Kari Lettinen. Some of these he's backed in too much. Tip of the crease, spit it back at him.
We'll drop this puck again as the Stars bring their top line, and
he's going to give up goals. You're going to give up goals the way the Stars play. It's when you make that save that lifts your bench, changes momentum in the game. That's the key.
Seguin wins the face-off. Shot from Klingberg, juggled and held by Robin Leonard.
Johnny Klingberg, there's been lots of really, really good and a little bit of that yeasty bad that you see in young defensemen. Decision-making at times. Man, is he a talent, though. You know, you always fawn over his offensive skills, but he's so good at angling when he's defending.
Coming out of corners with punch, too. It's been shot over his head.
But you have to be good. Zubov was that way too. Like, if you're undersized, you better be overly smart with how you defend, and he was great at it.
Lead pass here from Ben to Eaves. Eaves trying to cut in on Method, and Leonard almost made a mess of that.
He did. It got cleaned up, though. They grabbed the roll of bounty and moved it out of there. Wow.
Klingberg holding up Pajot, who has returned, and so starts 2 for 3 with the man advantage. Ben found a shot at pad stop. Leonard Eaves, the rebound just wide. Seguin back of the net. Eaves jockeying with Method in front of it. Seguin had a crease, worked it out to Klingberg, shooting it. That's blocked in front by Method. And Klingberg has to back out against Zibanejad, who skips it in wide of the net. No icing. Ben back of the goal, whipped it around. Gryba. It's over his stick. Pounded there. And Eakin tripped up. Now it pops free. Backhand shot, save Leonard on the bid from Roussel. MacArthur steering it out to center ice. Daly to Roussel. And another puck battle in the corner. Eakin charging in with Gryba. Senators Lazar wedged off by Roussel. Condra carrying it in. Neal had to drag a leg to stay on side, and this puck skitters in on Kari Lettinen. Dallas Stars are letting you create your own 3-game ticket package this spring. That's good of us with the Papa John's Pick 3 plan. Choose the Detroit, Pittsburgh, or Chicago home game plus any 2 other Dallas Stars home games, all starting at just $81, and we'll throw in a large 3-topping pizza from Papa John's. 214-GO STARS is how you get it.
Antoine Roussel and Neal were at one another, at least in proximity to one another and having words. Similar type wingers. Some question as to whether Neal, who had a long conversation with Spezza in the hallway this morning, maybe asking him, what's it like when you leave Ottawa? Because there's some speculation he might be a good guy to grab for a playoff-bound team.
And a couple of guys, too, that are veterans but have time left after this season on their contract that will be more difficult to move. The Senators so choose to do so. Jason Spezza shot it in from center ice. Horcoff in the corner. Tangling there with, Cowan. That bounced in front off Leonard. Oleksiak tried to feed Spezza. Ceci intercepts. Turris, McCulloch at the line. Passing back, and Cowan is tied up by Hemsky, who then takes a hit from his own guy, Oleksiak, on his way to the penalty box. In the second period for the Stars and the Senators, it's 3-2 Dallas.
Shamsky's in the box now as it gets filthy here in Ottawa. A lot of penalties tonight. Teams have figured out how to kill some now, but chasing from behind and hacked on the hands, they called it hooking. As they traipsed toward the net, lifted the hands of young Cowan. Bobby Ryan is on the ice here. He's only had 4 shifts in the second period. I didn't see him on that earlier power play. He got tangled up in the first period, but he's been instrumental in both their goals in the game.
So now the Senators try it for the 4th time. MacArthur, puck was burped up back to the net. Carlson over to MacArthur. Ryan drifts to the front of the net. Ceci pucked and blocked in front by Daly. Daly working away from Zibanejad. Ryan twisting out of the corner. Tried to feed it back, and it found MacArthur, who shot Roussel's stick out of his hands. Shot for Zibanejad. Oh, did that get there in a hurry? Save Lettman.
Great save.
Ryan keeping Roussel away, and the puck in the zone. Ceci. Mika Zibanejad. Cody Ceci. Zibanejad, deep shot by MacArthur, and Daly had enough of him. Fiddler clears.
Ended up just fanning on that. That was 2 grade A opportunities for the Ottawa power play. Just bang, dead in the slot. Great save on Zibanejad, and then that one goes awry.
Midway through Ales Hemsky's 6th minor of the season, the Senators are offside.
I mean, that's a glossy save, and Kari's made 2 of them here in the second period. Checking chicklets after all this here. Hear that waiting on it in the middle. You could see the Stars trying to get there. That was the play where Roussel had to go on a sojourn to get his stick back, and then this one in the slot, stick just in there. Otherwise, it's a one-timer from 10 feet from Clark MacArthur. Good goaltending from the Big Finn.
Face-off outside the Dallas line. Eakin wins the draw, and a play toward Garbett. Chase Carlson back of the net, passes to Hoffman. Hoffman pirouetting away from Garbett. It's a little screen there from Carlson. Accelerates to the Dallas line. Stone dropped it back to Carlson. Moving to the middle of the ice. Eakin was step for step with him. Stone passing to Hoffman. Out to Carlson. A shot tipped in front. Lettman can't see it. It comes in the near circle for Turris. Out to the line. Carlson turned it over. Garbett chasing the puck and couldn't tap it past Hoffman. And the Senators have numbers at the Dallas line. Turris recoiling toward the blue. Shot it into the far corner. Carlson, Ben dove. Alexiak finding Ben. He's got Eakin with him. Ben on a 2-on-1. Ben to Eakin. Eakin's in alone. And Turris hooked it away.
Wow, how's that not hooking?
I don't know.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Hemsky out of the box. Shot it. Save Leonard. Kicked it out of the zone. Funny business.
I was just starting to question in my mind, is this going to be a penalty shot?
Yeah, me too. Horkoff set up in front, and 2 Stars collide.
Hemsky again?
Hemsky's had a very tough night. He ran into Spezza there. Spezza shooting. Blocked by Pajot. Spezza has it in the corner. Takes it around behind. Centered it. Eaves backhander up high. Schlemko leaving it for Horkoff. On top, Spezza. Rocket over the top of the net. Jam up back of the net. Eaves to Trevor Daly.
Senators have some really tired guys out here that were on that power play.
Spezza to Klingberg. Klingberg to Spezza. Shot. That's blocked. Eaves relayed it. Shot it again off the glove. Carlson. Wide of the net. It's icing against the Senators. I suspect we'll see a timeout here.
I think they have to take it. These guys are exhausted. Leonard couldn't hang on to it to allow them to survive. We saw the timeout whispered from Dave Cameron, their coach. Here's that 2-on-1. Comes across. Here's the hook. He got nothing but stick. I'll give him that. He lifted his stick and never touched his hands. The chance in tight. And there's the collision. Boy, almost noggin to noggin, or was helmet to helmet. Both of them with windshields on. They had lots of chance. Boy, oh boy. Leonard pays to be large and long. Gets it with the glove, but he hasn't been able to hang on to an awful lot in the game. He's a repeller and a blocker. Spezza with his opportunities. He's had a couple in the game. He missed high and wide. I couldn't believe it. I went through all the numbers. You know, it's sort of semi-regular he's been with offense over the last little while. He hasn't had a multi-assist game since October 18th. He had 3 assists against Philadelphia, a goal and 3 assists. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's head-scratching.
Then one at a time.
Now Tyler Seguin off the timeout with Pajot. Pajot wins it. Karlsson nudges it in, and that's what they wanted, apparently, to get the change. But
Jamie Benn came in
getting all he wants.
He came in and banged bodies a little bit, and now they're full of the dickens because they got to rest with that timeout. No penalties out of this. Ben in the middle of everything, or are they going to pick some
looks
guys?
Like they got at least one.
So pull it in. The problem with that, and I don't blame Jamie Benn, was when Karlsson shoves it into his goaltender, Karlsson's stick goes underneath of the glove of Robin Lehner. Watch this. So it's still sort of underneath, but exposed where Ben is coming from. Then you got all this jostling going on, and the coincidental minors to Ben and Karlsson. Is that what we're going to get? Probably. One of the few times Karlsson will leave the ice, I'm sure, from here on in. Plays a lot. Open it up a little bit.
Now as Hemsky went down the tunnel, he is getting himself back into the Dallas bench now. One of those nights he scored a goal. He's been involved. Collided with their guys and his own. Eakin, Seguin, Goligoski, and Klingberg. Zibanejad with Eakin in the circle. Zibanejad wins it, but Thought plays it off to Ceci. Bobby Ryan up front, 2. Is their complement of 4. And puck. Is that to return to Hemsky?
Of course. Close. Rough return to Ottawa for Alish. He's like, just get me through this thing and get me out to the Canadian prairies, for crying out loud.
Said he liked it here. He played his junior hockey here. He had a lot of friends here. He was here very briefly, but played his whole career in Canada. Wanted to try something else, and he loves Dallas. Here's Seguin taming a puck, and then losing it to Ryan. Seguin skates back, though. Eakin with the turn to Seguin at the line. Seguin with a step on the back. Seguin a backhander off the post. Ryan shut it down. Zibanejad to Ryan. A shot blocked by Eakin. Tie up in the corner. Klingberg gives to Eakin. Dallas Stars games are eventful. Goligoski into the zone. Fighting through Zibanejad. Seguin a shot. He couldn't get it up and over Robin Lehner.
Yeah, it's a Scotia unfettered.
Yes.
Seguin gets a lovely lead pass from Cody Eakin and has Lehner mystified on the backhand. He hit a pipe like that in Montreal the other night. Takes it, legs moving, protects it on the backhand. Completely had Lehner beat. The second opportunity, again, it's a drive-by. Doesn't get his skate sideways to come in and shove it upstairs. He just tries to sneak it through and never got it elevated. Lehner's made a couple of saves like that.
Spezza wins the draw, but it's off Schlemko to center ice.
Boy, Jason Spezza wins a lot of those face-offs, the attack zone face-offs. Lindy Ruff was talking about that this morning. Very confident in lifting his goaltender late in periods like he did in Montreal because of that. He knows Spezza's going to win it.
Hemsky got it loose. Now finds Daly for a shot. Save Lehner.
He hit him right in that old logo on his belly.
And Cowan claws his way into the Dallas zone for Kyle Turris. Wanted the return to Cowan. It's flushed back out toward the line. Hoffman can't sneak past Eaves. Here's Daly, 2 assists in the game. For Dallas's Dean. Slinging it back to Schlemko. Working it over, and Demers hustles in. Passing it to Fiddler for a shot that ricochets. Goes to Stone. Half a minute remaining in the period, and he takes it over onside after the shove from Demers. He stayed on his skates.
Stars were trying to get a change in, and because of the attempt to the net by Fiddler, it got turned over. They couldn't get it in.
Ben and Carlson are on. The Miners are over, and Roussel is planted after he caught the puck and then set it down. Gryba ahead to Ryan with 10 left in the period. Ryan through Letton's crease. And this one blocked. Ben trying to go. There's not enough time. They're yelling, shoot, shoot, shoot from the bench. Couldn't get it off.
I don't know that the play was any tighter in the second period, but the goaltenders held tight, and the score didn't change.
Crazy. So the Dallas Stars, second game of the 3-game swing through Canada, almost all of it. 3-2 in Ottawa after 40 minutes. More great stuff coming up when we recommence. Second period sends us Dallas 3, Ottawa 2 to the third. And tonight, Razors, some crisscrossing storylines of former Star and 2 former Sens.
Yeah, you know, the get-together once again from these 2 franchises. Of course, Chiasson and Spezza in the deal on July 1st. Ales Hemsky was signed as a free agent. Hemsky finished the season here in Ottawa with the Senators last year. Their nights tonight have been involved. Our AT&T U-verse rewind, though, you'd think it'd be all about Jason Spezza, but it's all about Ales Hemsky. Scored 4 goals in 20 games as an Ottawa Senator. He has 2 and 2 as a Dallas Star. Big blast off the wing in Dallas, and then on the power play again. Slapper from distance that finds the back of the net. He's been banged up a little bit. He's been rocked around. He's been the most obvious of the 3, I think, throughout the game tonight.
And we'll see what we have in store tonight. Tyler Seguin took a whack from a stick, and then he fights back on Zibanejad. Puck ricochets to Ben. Seguin overskates the puck. Eaves hauling it in, shooting it deep. Ben going back of the net. Trying to pick it away from Cowan. To the boards to Klingberg, who's got a little room. Shot it, save Leonard. Puck was grabbed by Cowan right up the middle to Klingberg. Hangs onto it. No pulse, that kid. Eaves shooting it. Stopped by Zibanejad. They worked up toward the line, and Ben kept it in. Accommodates the Dallas change. That's 29-16 Dallas. They have a 3-2 lead over Ottawa. They were up 3-0 in the first. Senators scored 2 at the end of the period, or close. And there's Hemsky. Puck was up in the air. Peugeot kicked it. Daly backing it up. And Hemsky clears. Method from center ice, partnered with Erik Karlsson. Schlemko slung it around. McCulloch. Stone breaking for the front of the net. Horkoff and Peugeot came together. Daly moved it, banked it out, and Karlsson will skate it down. Peugeot tips it over. Stars just changed. Ottawa's doing the same. These teams are not bad this season when trailing after 2. Senators have come from behind 4 times. Garbutt shoots that, and a stop from Leonard.
Yeah, these 2 teams get together, and we've seen some high-scoring games through the years. We've seen animosity that seems foreign when you consider, and now they'll see each other twice a season in the new format and a new schedule. But back in the day, it was like they hadn't seen each other in like 18 months, and it was as if they just played a playoff series against each other.
Funny. Demers shot that, tipped down and inward. Leonard made the save. Garbutt sticking it back of the net. Eakin pivoting away from Lazar. Lazar hanging on. He'll push it back out to Demers' shot, kicked out. Oleksiak putting it back of the net and around the boards. Condra and Garbutt come together. And a pass ahead to Neal at center ice. He's overtaken by Cody Eakin. Oleksiak stepped up on Lazar. And Demers takes it from Letton. Reverses it to Eakin. Up ahead to Roussel. Ceci was sort of waiting for him. And now Phillips. Fiddler tried to steal it at the line. Couldn't do it. Now they have to clear the zone.
That's happened a lot, though. You saw Cowan on that first shift of this period where their decor will just end up throwing pucks away.
This one pitched off Hoffman, their leading goal scorer.
Stars are at their best when they force mistakes up the ice with their forecheck, and they did it to Montreal the other night. They just couldn't beat Price.
Turris, Chiasson bolting to the net. He scores! Alex Chiasson ties the game for Ottawa.
So the Senators have knife and forked their way all the way back to level after being down 3-0. It's a great play by Turris. Picks it out of midair initially to stop it up, and then makes the play. And Alex Chiasson does what he does best, drive the net. He beats Klingberg on the far side. Look at the head up. What a pass on the backhand by Kyle Turris to spring it in front. Lettinen was waiting shot all the way. Never, ever was in a position where he could push off and deal with that. I don't know if he ever even anticipated that Chiasson was breaking to that post.
8th goal of the season, his first in 17 games. And the Senators have tied it. Ryan going to barge his way past Schlemko. Daly picks it up back at the net from Ryan. Heaves it, and it rolls on edge, icing against the Stars.
So, almost knocked out of the game, at least had the wind knocked out of him in the second period, and he comes back here early in the third. Intriguing that both Spezza and Chiasson are wearing number 90 with their new clubs. He came in and was a goal-scoring machine when he was called up to the Dallas Stars his rookie year, and then things tailed away a little bit. Lost his confidence in that category. Same thing has sort of happened here with the Senators this season.
Ben now chips it away from Carlson, but Mathat's there to help him out. Yeah, almost exactly. So Chiasson has scored. Hemsky has scored. The stage is set. Ben has the puck. Tried to flip it away from Ryan. Second bid out to center ice. Eves jockeying with Carlson. Alexiak went sliding through. Ryan takes it over. Backhanded it in front. Save Lettinen on MacArthur.
Who's had some opportunities throughout the game tonight. Got inside position, but not much on this on the backhand. Stars tried to work their way through neutral ice. Alexiak just sort of went for skate in the middle, and then Jamie Benn was trying to deal with MacArthur and was stick checking him rather than getting fanny to hands in front of the net, and Kari Lettinen just swallows this one with the belly button.
Pajot and Horcoff. Horcoff's had a great night in the faceoff circle, 4 for 4. Five for 5. Daly sends it up. Spezza looking for the puck. Pajot dealing it back. And Hemsky walked up with Stone. Daly found it. Demers sprints back for it. 4 minutes gone in the third period. Demers under some pressure from Stone. Spezza inside his own line, bunted it off to Horcoff, who gets past Greiba, and his pass blocked by McCulloch. Cleared to the line. Bounding puck at center ice. Daly grabs it. Cut his way into the zone away from Stone. Phillips picked it up. His pass hits Daly in the back. And now a twirling Pajot shot it in. Quick up, Goligoski to Garbett. Fired it in wide of the net. Roussel in the corner. Jostling for the puck with Condra. That's Garbett staggering out. Goligoski puts it back in the net. That's Eakin. He's tied up. Cowan played it to the boards. Roussel left it. Garbett at the line, shooting it. And that save in front from Leonard. Lazar through center ice, and he ran right into Garbett and knocked him over.
To fight his way away from Cody Eakin, who was hounding him.
Eakin makes the catch. Wanted to give it to Ben. Got past Cowan. Plays it to Ben. To Eaves, a shot. Off the post.
Off the post and to center. An enormous post. Oh.
Here's Ben on the attack. Shooting. Cowan blocked it. Didn't see it. Now finds it. Now tripped up in the corner with Eaves. Seguin trying to lift it out of there. Seguin lifts it out of there. Centered it. And Cowan escapes to center ice. They bank it over. Turris is loose in front. Got past him. Eaves plays it out to center. Here comes Carlson. Snapped it over, but it's out of Hoffman's reach. Went out the side of the net. And Goligoski pressured. Chase on out to the line. Carlson's shot blocked by Travis Moen. Takes Goligoski's pass, and there goes Seguin vaulting through. Pass to Sevier at the line. Sevier toward the net. Backhand shot, save Leonard. And that one excused off the boards and out of play. 13:37 left in the third period. Stars and the Senators are tied at 3.
As a child up here in Canada, you never want to lick a frosty pipe. No. Never want to do that. Stars have hit a couple of red pipes in the game. Seguin with a hot backhand back in the second. And then look at where this ends up. Right on the logo at center ice as Eaves drilled one. He was fantastic in Montreal the other night. Came within the half an inch of giving the Stars the lead again moments ago.
Started his career here, went to Carolina. They traded him to Boston. Boston bought him out immediately. He never played for the Bruins in a salary cap. Husker Du signed with Detroit. Now he signed here after being traded to Nashville last year. There it is. Klingberg to Goligoski, shooting it. Got in on Leonard. He made the stop. Sean Horkoff back of the net. Spezza trying to get clear of Mathot. Hemsky throttled again. But he's right back up, and it's pumped to the Dallas line to Trevor Daley. Looking over his options. Horkoff opening up for the pass to Demers at center ice. Working it across and deep. McCulloch takes him down. Spezza has the puck. Spezza trying to get away. Spezza forced to the line. Horkoff back of the net. Here comes Spezza down the throat. He'll kick it off to Daley. Shooting it off the side of the net after Leonard made the stop. Horkoff keeping it in. Stone cuts under and clears Carlson at center ice. Stone centered it, and Demers is there to tap it away from McCulloch. Phillips goes down to Carlson, but he missed the pass, and Daley shoots it down the ice. Icing against Dallas.
Erik Karlsson's mad at himself at the end of all that. I'm not sure if he's mad that McCulloch didn't come with him or mad that he didn't shoot in the slot. Shaking his head on the way back to the bench. Pretty good opportunity for them as they bowled their way up the ice. And he was right in the middle, wanted that puck all the way in. We mentioned off the top, he scored 4 goals in the last 4 games. He's as breezy a defender as you're ever going to find in this league.
Engaging, fun to watch, electric. There's Chiasson, who just tied the game for Ottawa. Hemsky scored back in the first period for Dallas. And Daley outlegging Hoffman. Pass to Garbutt at the line. Greiba intercepts. Turris at center ice. Ran into Garbutt. And then Turris has some trouble with the boards and the puck. Chris Phillips up the middle. Klingberg wanted to hit Roussel. It's blocked, and now he's chasing Turris into the Dallas zone. Goligoski's going to beat both of them to the puck, and he funnels it out to center ice. Under 12 to play. Shots are 36-18 Stars. Coming up on 40 again.
Don't get 40.
It's a bad number. Garbutt at center. On the flank for Seguin. Seguin got away from Cowan, but then MacArthur picked him up. Garbutt. Klingberg to Goligoski with people in front. One-timer from the far side. And Garbutt will go to the bench. Seguin probing for it. Cowan shoved him down in the slot. MacArthur funnels it forward. Zibanejad's off and flying to the Dallas line. Got it through to Ryan. In front, Zibanejad save. It's picked away from the line. The fans behind the net were all up. Eves charging back into Ottawa ice. Eves fighting through MacArthur. And that one's blocked as Leonard was moving aside. Seguin centered it, and then he's hammered along the boards. And it's icing against Ottawa, and Seguin doesn't like the treatment.
Bobby Ryan had nowhere to go and just hammered Seguin on the near side. What a chance that was for the Senators. Zibanejad works it through, and then Bobby Ryan finds him in front. He gets jammed on the first one, but Letnin's just absolutely mystified as to where that puck went, and Eves backs him up. Otherwise, that creeps over the line, and they're ahead.
Heady play. Senators change. Daly shot it and hit a stanchion at center and died right to Bobby Ryan. In he comes. Ryan couldn't pick his way past Trevor Daly. Daly flipped it ahead. Sevier on the move. Sevier has a goal and an assist in the game. It's his first multi-point game of the season, third of his career. Alexiak up off Moen, and Carlson back on the ice for the Senators. Lazar to the Dallas line. He and Alexiak going to the corner. Puck comes loose to Spezza. Two Senators are trapped. Here come the Stars. Demers joining at the line. Spezza taking it in and takes a bump from Carlson. Now fights back for the puck. Hemsky. That's out of his reach. And here comes Carlson ahead to center ice. He'll get it in for the change.
Had to dangle his own players to get to center and do that.
Alexiak pulling his way forward. And the Stars are offside. Less than half a period to play. In Canada, Ontario, the Stars and the Senators tied at 3.
Tie hockey game midway through the third period, and it's been a bit turbulent. A greasy one tonight between the Senators and the Dallas Stars. There's been some shenanigans after whistles. Been plenty of hitting. Lots of cuts. Sometimes your own teammates. Fractious after the whistle around both nets. Trying to find your own space around the rink here tonight. Hacks, blacks, you name it.
John Klingberg inside his own line. To his partner, Veligoski up ahead. Roussel chasing the puck, took it away from Greiba. Roussel stepping in, dropped to Garbett, and it's stripped. Hoffman going the other way. He's got Chiasson with him at the line. Klingberg forced him and then punches it forward, and Klingberg's in a race for the puck. He's at a tough angle. He'll bring it in and shoot. He scores!
Wow! A celestial shot! My gracious! Wow. This puck and this ice surface played a major role in it. Great defensive play by Hoffman to come back and strip it. And then he toe picks himself just inside the blue line, turns it over. There's Klingberg. Impossible angle, right? In tight. The goalie is 6'5". It was like he was 5'5" the way he played this. Right shot, deep right side, lifts it under the soffit and gives the Stars the 4-3 lead. Wow. Wow. He just drops and expects to get hit. Don't be afraid to try to make a save at that position in this league.
Klingberg's 7th goal of the season. 3 of them have come in 2 games against the Ottawa Senators. We were talking to him before the game about some of these other Swedes out here. Does it bring out the best in them?
He said he wanted to have bragging rights after the game.
Yes, he did.
He has them right now.
Ryan moving in for a shot, and the save from Kari Lehtinen. He does his part.
An ankle breaker on Schlemko on his way in. He can be so syrupy with the puck one-on-one. This is where he's most dangerous. Pulls it inside, around, can't find air through Lehtinen on that one, though.
Zibanejad and Horcoff to Kari Lehtinen's left.
I thought there was not a chance on earth that Klingberg was going to be able to score from that angle.
No.
None.
None at all. Spezza intercept, but then couldn't go with it. Ryan dusting it off. Horcoff closing on him, sending him toward the boards. Spezza pokes it ahead. Horcoff clears it, but that's going to be icing against Dallas.
Man, oh man. No substitute for elite skill, no matter what the age. That man knows it too. Stars general manager Jim Nilge is. Stars could be up 8-1 right now or down 16-2, and he would look like that. Taking stock, making notes, moving forward, getting better.
Yep. That's his MO.
Brilliant man.
Very much so. Shot from Carlson from the line. Lettinen got the whistle as he was playing the puck.
Carey's been very good as this game has moved along. A little bit fortunate here early in the period when that one got through him and Patrick Eaves bailed him out. But, you know, you go back to that save on McCulloch in the second period. Short-handed. You make that one. They survive it. They move on. I believe that was Klingberg that was caught up ice on that. Now he comes back to be the hero here in the third for the moment.
For the moment. Carlson back of his net. Swung it around to McCulloch. Pajot at center ice. Stone on his wing. Roussel. Legs churning, gets back for the puck. Works it along. Daly cutting under. Stone takes it away to the line for Carlson. That's blocked in front. Demers hauling it ahead to center. Roussel coming over. Ran into Carlson. Centered the puck. Stone for the Senators. McCulloch tipped it over. It's onside. Carlson skates past it, and Garbutt flung it out.
You watch the way the Stars forwards come back to help this D-core now. You saw Roussel all the way down early in that shift. There was Garbutt that time to help them get it out. Team defense.
Here's Mullen tracking Torres, who cuts inside, fires it. Lettinen caught up to it.
Just with the stick.
Torres back in the net. Fiddler comes away with the puck, passes to Klingberg, off the ice to Sevier, and out of the jam. Sevier shooting, Leonard the stop. Mullen in check. And Hoffman like to get out of the zone. Fiddler won't allow it. Shot from Mullen into the glove, and good hard work again by that group.
Yeah, started in their own zone. You know, there was Vern Fiddler below the icing line in his own end. They win the puck, get it down, grind and work, corners being worked, hustle back, load above the puck on the defensive side of things, and then they get it to the net. Grind some minutes off the clock. The usual stuff out of that man and that trio.
Face off to Robin Leonard's left. Seguin and Zibanejad. Mika wins it. Daly keeping Ryan in the Ottawa zone for the moment.
This has been a good line for the Ottawa Senators tonight.
MacArthur, Zibanejad chips it over. Lettinen steering it along. Demers using the boards. Patrick Eaves couldn't get it out. Tapped on. Zibanejad shot blocked. Went over the top of the net. Daly to the line. Gryba holding it. There's Ryan. Goes back out on top for Phillips. To Gryba. Shooting. Tapped off Lettinen. Threw him in wide. And then a centering feed is loose in the crease. Seguin cleared it away. Ben to Daly at center. Stars have something going here. Daly leaving it. Seguin moving in. He shoots it high. Missed the net. Daly holds the zone. Chucks it in deep for Eaves. Seguin along the boards. Goligoski is shot wide. And he keeps it in. Walks away from Ryan, who lost his stick.
That should have been a hooking penalty.
Horcoff coming to the puck. Wrestling there. Hemsky on top. Ryan without a stick just mauled one of the Stars. Goligoski in the slot. He's without a helmet. Alex is. MacArthur takes it to center and no penalties.
That line got caught out there forever. They were tired. That's why Bobby Ryan ended up just reaching out with the stick and hooking on to Alex Goligoski. Should have been a penalty, wasn't.
Demers passed it in. Hemsky has it onside off Stone. Ran into a thought. Now Spezza for Hemsky. A puck chipped away. Pageau to center ice. Hit by Horcock. Stone got it forward. And Schlemko made the play on McCulloch. 5 minutes left in the third. Stars 4, Ottawa 3. Stone down the boards against Schlemko. Into the corner. McCulloch jousting there with Demers, and it's flung all the way down the ice by Ryan Garbutt. Lindy Ruff still has his timeout. I'm not sure if he would use it here.
These guys just got out there.
Yeah.
Boy, the Zibanejad line came close. This deflection right in front. Bobby Ryan goes through. It went through the 5-hole of Letton, and it must have hit the instep of his right skate and eluded. This is a good look from up above. Comes to the middle. Oh, yeah, it did. Inside of the left pad and out the other side. Living right.
Carlson off the Ottawa faceoff win, twirling it out to Hoffman for a shot that's deflected wide. Garbutt, Roussel waiting for it at the Ottawa line. And it's chipped away from him. Turris wants to go. Passing it over to Carlson, moving in, a drive. Save Letton.
Good one. Out challenging, checking. I think he's made 2 great saves with his stick. One with the skinny part there and the paddle earlier.
Hoffman firing over the top of the net. Hoffman can rip it. Roussel passing out. And no icing here. Sevier's pass goes out toward the line. So he'll chase back hard. Zibanejad bouncing it in. Letton having trouble with the puck. He covers.
This ice is making the puck do funny things. Face wash. Smell the glove. Time. Aim for the face.
4-3 Dallas. Under 4 minutes to play.
The talent that is John Klingberg on display here tonight, Canada's capital, and he has been terrific once again. He's the best rookie defenseman in the Western Conference. That's indisputable, right?
Yes.
Aaron Ekblad is something else. Went first overall. He's down in Florida. Severson's a great young defenseman too, but Klingberg in very short time has turned into a true talent. I teased it early on. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Show you his offensive thrust in the game. Nice patient pass on the power play to Jamie Benn to open the scoring here tonight. And then in the third period, off a turnover from a, man, it's not an impossible angle. This is called a severe angle. In tight, over Leonard, who apparently had rigor mortis set in on him as he wafted in. Gives the Stars the go-ahead goal here in the frame. They've got 4 minutes to try to protect it.
That's 39-26 Dallas. So Zibanejad and company out here. Eakin off the tie-up. Rush toward the line, but the Stars explode out with it. Antoine Roussel pitching it over. Garbutt following up, hacked it back in the net. MacArthur fell. Can he get that one? And Zibanejad sticks his stick out. Klingberg will go get it for Dallas. Both teams change up. Eves turned his stick to chip that deep. Robin Leonard back of the net. It's an errant bounce. The Senators get away with it. Mathod ahead. Pageau tried to streak in. Daly banged it out. Here comes Stone. Handing it out to Mathod. Shot it. Saved Letton. McCulloch from the wall. Missed the goal. Back of the net, Stone. Trying to escape Demers. Pitched into the corner. Man, there's your high toss. Wow.
Rock solid.
Yes. He died right on the wall, too.
He's a talent.
Yep. 14 kid. Keep an eye on him. 2.5 left. Turris streaking into the zone. Shot it. Blocked. Spezza cranks it around. Phillips from the boards. Spezza was over there. Hoffman gave it to Turris. Tied up by Klingberg. Carlson out to Chiasson, and a clear lane for Kari Lenton to see it.
And he gets to bomb that one from distance. You know when Erik Karlsson's going to get it for the most part, if he's within 10 feet of the boards, he wants to work it toward the middle of the rink always. That one, a little cute back pass in the middle. It's going to the middle. Boom. No screen in front. Routine save off the logo for Kari Lehtinen. Stars are going about their business here. They think they're a better defensive team that can close down games like this. More comfortable in one-goal games than they were early on in the year. See if they can prove it again tonight.
Eakin wins the draw. Daly threw it out. Hoffman knocked it down, rips it back over. Lehtinen dropped it. Demers for Daly. Roussel tipped it, but it stays in. Hoffman put it in the corner. Allowing the Stars to reorganize defensively. Daly and Turris scrap for the puck. Eakin came in to find it. He'll come to center ice, shoot it in. Let Roussel go after Phillips back there. Finish his head. Garbutt slapped it. Eakin was looking to tip it. Goligoski flicks it in deep. Garbutt in the corner. Passing to Eakin. In front, he wanted Roussel. Now he centers it, and Leonard clamps down on it with 1:32 remaining in the Ottawa zone. The faceoff will come.
This is a good group of five to kind of grind the game down. Both Goligoski and Klingberg on the point because they have patience with it there. Rotate it down. Those three guys can grind it out with their quickness in the attacking zone. So face-off to Leonard's left because of that, and they get it to the net. And yeah, he'll scamper, I would think, if they get it up ice. They've already utilized their timeout, though.
Fiddler Zibanejad, it goes to the boards. Ottawa comes up with it. I assume Karlsson getting it to center. Now MacArthur will start Leonard, but it does not.
That was read well by Tyler Seguin.
There goes Leonard. Here comes MacArthur. Extra attacker on for the Senators. Back of the net, MacArthur. Fiddler chipped it away. Klingberg has it back of the net. Puts it in an area that Ben can get to. Cross the ice. He wanted Seguin. It's blocked. Zibanejad trying to attack. And a penalty coming up on Tyler Seguin.
They don't call the one earlier in the period, and now under a minute they call this. I mean, it's probably a penalty, but you know, he twisted. He got it on his stick. There's not that much different than what Turris did earlier. Wow.
And Dave Cameron took a mini timeout there.
Yeah. They didn't last change, and they were delaying it as long as they could. So early in the game, it was tough for both teams to kill a penalty. If Stars can kill half of one here, they're going to win a hockey game.
Fifth power play of the game for Ottawa. They scored on their second. 4-3 Stars under a minute to play with the Ottawa goaltender Leonard on the bench. Eakin wins the draw. Daly shoots it down the ice, and he scores! Trevor Daly.
Quite a point night for him.
A goal and 2 helpers.
I was thinking to myself, if they do get to 40 shots tonight after Leonard had been pulled, the game's over. They're going to win it. That thing had a little hard inside curl on it. Up on end, rode its way down, and Daly all smiles here as the Stars, looks like, barring a miracle, in the final 51 seconds, are going to win on the road in Ottawa, which they always do. The last time they lost in regulation here was in 2000. 15 years ago.
It's unbelievable. How about this one, too? That is a short-handed empty net goal by Trevor Daly. And that's icing against the Senators, although MacArthur was close.
So they find their offense again here tonight, a big part of it. And they score at even strength. They score on the power play. They score short-handed. They score an empty netter. I mean, they're hitting for the cycle in Canada. What a goal by him. Changed the complexion of this third period, Klingberg's. They're getting goals from defensemen. The power play woke up tonight with a couple of power play goals. And Kari Lehtinen really did play well in this contest. Really well.
Zibanejad wins the faceoff. Ryan to the line. There goes Leonard to the bench. They need 2 with half a minute to play. Ben will try. The Stars are shorthanded. Ben scores!
They are accurate from that end. You know, you look down at the Senators, it's like people should know when they're conquered, right?
Yes. Yes.
6-3. Look at this. Woo! Stand still, length of the rink saucer. Lindy Ruff does run a drill in practice. He usually has the young guys do it at the end of a practice. They have to take a slap shot from the end of the rink into an empty net at the other end. If they don't hit it, they have to skate down and back as a group. There's a lot of pressure on guys that just get called up. Then eventually the vets get to do it. Well, they've been very accurate with the vets.
Leonard stays put. That's 2 shorthanded goals by the Stars as the scoring goes. Giving them 6 for the year. And so Dallas, after losing a real tough one in Montreal, never give their lead away completely, never trailed in the game to Ottawa. And although Jason Spezza does not get on the sheet, the Stars beat the Senators 6-3.
Well, he doesn't. Difficult game emotionally. I mean, he's talked to everybody with a microphone for 2 days here, and good teammates want to make this a triumphant return for an individual, and it is here tonight. Not exactly storybook for him, but a big victory for the Stars as they pack away 2 points. Winnipeg lost. They got pumped pretty good by Philadelphia tonight. And the Stars creep a little closer to that wild card spot in the Western Conference with this one. Their next game is in Winnipeg against those Jets.
Calgary and Minnesota also playing tonight. And so the Stars, beginning in Winnipeg, 7 of their next 14 games are against Winnipeg, Colorado, San Jose, and Minnesota. So it's a big stretch for the Stars if they have designs on the playoffs. And it all starts Saturday in Winnipeg. Tonight's game, produced by Jason Walsh and directed by Mark Vittorio. The associate producers for Dallas Stars Hockey, John Spotsler, Doug Foster, and Cody Eastwood. For Darryl Ray and the rest of the gang, I'm Ralph Strangis. Big win tonight for the Stars in Ottawa. 6-3 the final. Post-game show is coming up now.